All right, let's jump right in. You know that feeling, right? That deep down craving we all have to be certain, to be absolutely 100% right about something. But what if I told you that very craving, that desire for certainty, is actually a trap? What if it's the very thing holding us back from making real progress? Come on, we've all been there. It's that cringy, humbling moment when a belief you would have bet the house on just completely shatters. You were so sure, and then suddenly you weren't. It's a feeling we all know, and it's actually the key to everything we're going to talk about today. Now this is a total flip of the script. It's a huge shift in how we think about knowledge. It means letting go of all that pressure to have the final perfect answer. Instead, it frames learning as this endless journey of just getting better. The goal isn't to reach some mythical finish line called truth, but to keep getting closer by hunting down and fixing our own mistakes. And that leads us straight to the main event, this idea called fallibilism. Yeah, it sounds a little academic, I know, but trust me, it's an incredibly practical and powerful way to see the world. I love this subtitle, The Art of Being Productively Wrong. It's all about using our mistakes as fuel for progress. So here's the official definition. The idea, which comes from philosophers like Charles Sanders Peirce and Karl Popper, is that all of our knowledge, and I mean everything, even our most solid scientific laws, is temporary. It's provisional. It's our best guess for now, and it's always open to being improved or even overturned later. It's not saying we don't know anything. It's just saying we can never, ever be 100% sure. Now, it's really easy to hear we can't be certain and just fall into, despair. Like, what's the point? But fallibilism isn't about giving up. It's actually this perfect, constructive middle path. It helps us navigate between the two big extremes: rigid, unthinking dogma on one side, and cynical, hopeless doubt on the other. This chart just lays it out so clearly. Over on one end, you've got infallibilism, the belief that you can find absolute, rock-solid proof. On the other end, skepticism, which basically says, since nothing's certain, we know nothing. But fallibilism sits right there in this sweet spot. And here's the kicker. Look at the goals. The infallibilist wants to prove things right. The fallibilist? Their goal is to find the errors. That's where all the action is. That's the engine of growth. Okay, so this is where a modern thinker, the physicist David Deutsch, enters the picture. He takes this idea of fallibilism and just supercharges it. He turns it from a dry, philosophical concept into this incredibly optimistic, powerful framework for how humanity can solve its problems. Deutsch makes this brilliant distinction between two fundamental mindsets. There's the old way, which he calls justificationism. That's where you're obsessed with proving your ideas are true by appealing to some authority, an expert, a study, whatever. It's defensive and it leads to getting stuck. But the new way, fallibilism, starts from the opposite assumption. It expects every idea to have flaws, and that's where the fun begins, the work of finding and fixing them. He says this one switch opens the door to unlimited growth. And you can't say it better than Deutsch himself. This is the core idea of his amazing book, The Beginning of Infinity. The second we realize there are no ultimate, unquestionable sources of knowledge, that's the moment we start. That's the beginning of an infinite journey of discovery. It's such a liberating thought, isn't it? So how do we actually do this? What does it look like in practice? Well, it's a cycle. Step 1, you just have to accept that every idea is probably flawed in some way. Step 2, you create the best, most detailed explanations you can think of, the kind that are hard to vary, meaning you can't just change little bits without the whole thing falling apart. Step 3, and this is the real engine room, you have to relentlessly, ruthlessly criticize those ideas to find the hidden bugs. And step 4, that whole process is progress. That's how we move forward. So let's just boil down Deutsch's whole philosophy here. First, problems are going to happen. They're inevitable. But, and this is his powerful principle of optimism, every single problem is also solvable. Progress doesn't just come from testing things. It comes from human creativity, from creating these good explanations. And at the heart of it all, error correction. It isn't just one part of the process. It is the entire process of growth. So what happens when a whole society starts to think this way? Well, the consequences are just massive. This isn't some abstract theory for a university classroom. It's a practical guide for how to approach, well, pretty much everything. Just look at how this plays out. In science, it's the humble idea that no theory is the final word. In politics, wow, it would mean treating policies like experiments to be improved, not dogmas to be defended to the death. Even our morality isn't set in stone. Our understanding of what's right and wrong can grow as we find errors in our reasoning. It literally changes how we see progress in every single area of our lives. And that's really the big takeaway here.
Fallibilism sets us free. It frees us from that exhausting, impossible quest to be right all the time. Instead, we get to take part in this joyful, creative, and literally never-ending game of finding our mistakes and building something better on top of them. It's not about the negative of being wrong. It's all about the positive potential to always get better.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Think about something, just one thing, in your own life that you feel totally certain about. It could be about your job, a relationship, how the world works. Now ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped treating it like a final, sacred truth and started treating it like your best theory so far, one that's just waiting for its next great improvement? That could be your own beginning of infinity.